All right, I'm pretty sure that we're live and unmuted.
Woo!
And also
Good
recording.
things.
And
Yes,
also
yes.
recording.
Yes.
Belt and suspenders. And LFA is
Okay,
already yelling
Google, are we
yeet
live?
in chat.
You never know. It could
I
happen
mean-
again.
It could very well happen again. One of the
Yep.
party members has acquired a mech, and they got in it.
True. Yeah.
And also there's a Zax.
Right.
Yeah.
And also there is a kobold barbarian with a strength of 25. Yes.
Yep.
Hello. I am Manigo Montoya. No, I'm not. Hello and welcome to Pack Tactics Season 3. This is Episode 31, Sage Advice. And this is a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign where all of the players are kobolds. There happens to be an NPC that's a Warforged, but that's an NPC. They're adopted by the party.
Yes.
If anything happens to them, the kobolds will riot. Which is to say, the kobold barbarian will continue to act as normal.
Pretty much.
But the kobold artificer may very well stop attempting to befriend everything. In any case, tonight I am joined by a bunch of awesome people, including but not limited to LFA hanging out in chat, Ellie, Io, Jen, Cindy, Craig is hanging out in chat, recording everything we say, everything we do,
Hi, Craig.
just watching, staring. Craig's a bot, by the way. Not a
Craig, we
Warforged.
love you. Please don't turn into Skynet.
Praise the Basilisk.
Nah, just Skynet.
Rocco's Basilisk. Or Roscoe.
Yeah, I know.
In any case, this is the point of the show where I ask, what happened last time?
We found JR!
And nothing else
Well,
mattered.
They found us, I think.
Yeah. JR found us. And
I
it
found
is
a thing.
It is not entirely clear whether or not JR was the seer that
These spider things were
the
afraid
spider
of.
things were afraid of.
My money's on that gargoyle-looking thing that talked to Bones, which Neri promised to give Neri's bones to.
Well, I mean, if I'm dead, I'm not going to be doing anything with them.
Yeah, but who wants to be the delivery guy on that job?
To be fair, Tim is dead, and Tim is still using Tim's bones.
Yes, this is true.
But Neri is a ranger, and Neri firmly believes in putting her bones to a good purpose, which is not inhabiting them once she's dead. And to answer your question, Western Union.
Okay, starting off inspiration. I love this game. I love this game so freaking much. So, JR does manage to tell you the experience that they had. So, the being that garroted them and pulled them back into the shadows, JR doesn't know how they got to be somewhere else, but they got to be somewhere else. And this was a bit of a bad thing because, unlike the kobolds, JR doesn't actually have dark vision.
Oh.
So they were actually wandering around in the darkness while the rest of you are like, yeah, I see everything. This is good.
Oh,
Yeah. And the best guess JR has is that the being really wanted them to... They didn't want to kill JR outright. They wanted to remove someone from the group and let the various nasties that inhabited this location to finish them off separately. Okay, thank you for that image, Ellie.
referring to the creature that garroted JR.
I thought that was referring to the author, but never mind.
No. Wait, okay, also
Maybe
the
so.
author.
Maybe
Also the
so.
author.
Okay, moving forward, we will not speak of the image anymore.
No.
This is a kid-friendly show. We do not use any foul language. We just talk about horrible things from the dark spaces between the stars. Murder and poison and nightmares.
So I'm not allowed to mention chickens?
That would depend on how you mention chickens, I think.
No, it's because foul language.
Ah, got it now.
Oh!
Anytime you hear something from Ellie that you don't quite understand, assume it's a pun. Anytime you hear the DM sigh heavily after Ellie has said something, it is confirmed that it is a pun. Moving forward, which I've been told should be another spot on the bingo card.
It really should.
Yes. There were other things that did approach JR. JR assumed discretion as the better form of valor and decided to run blindly through a cave. 3 stalagmites later,
Oh.
they found a thing. It was just standing there, apparently awaiting orders. JR had some orders. There were more suggestions, friendly advice. And suddenly the things that were running after JR were running from JR.
Oh, goodness.
Now, JR wasn't interested in chasing after them. JR was interested in finding JR's friends. So they kind of just started to slowly wander through the cave system looking for signs of kobolds. And then they found you. And the rest is the last episode.
Mm-hmm. JR has a mech.
Yes. Well, kind of, sort of. It seems to be somewhat autonomous. JR can suggest it do things, but it also will do things on its own if not given suggestions.
Okay.
So it's an,
You made a friend.
it's
kind
an
of, sort
Ava.
of. It's not quite. It doesn't seem to be as intelligent as JR. It might be. It's sentient, not sapient. Let's put it that way.
Get in the robot,
you found
JR.
the
Okay, second inspiration.
So it's basically JR's horse.
Kind of, sort of. Now, JR can
No,
take.
JR is a paladin. JR needs a paladin mount.
I have a mount.
You have
I
a
mean,
mount.
It,
Yes.
it does beat Meepo's mount. Meepo's mount was Barnabas the goat.
Yep.
That is a flashback.
It is. That's from
That's a
while
3-year-old
back.
flashback.
Yeah. It is.
We're kind of doing that this week, though.
Yeah.
Well, yes, because I've been listening to the old episodes because one of the campaigns went back to a previous location.
right.
That's
Right.
Yes. But that's another story for another episode of the podcast. In this particular situation, what I was
hey,
getting
I forgot
to...
I'm wounded.
Off topic, but I really hope Arepa gets to come back. She was really fun to play.
There is always room at my table. More so for this particular table, because that campaign, there's only 3 people who've said, I will be here every week. And one of them, real life, said, no, you won't.
Right. Arepa is very excited to join the campaign.
Arepa was the most energetic. Arepa and Chroma in the same room. I don't know if anyone can handle that level of adrenaline.
New friend?
Sort of. Now, something that I've been trying to get to, but we keep getting distracted. The last thing I wanted to say about JR's situation is the shoulder that one gear is from, that arm is non-functional at this point. JR can't move it on their own. The mech
Oh, no.
has access to both arms. The mech uses both arms, but it tends to use the other arm when it decides this is a good time to do it. Like if it needs to stretch an arm out for balance or whatever, it'll just do that. JR doesn't have any control over that arm. Not until that gear gets put back into place.
Chroma, you up for a little repair job?
Possibly?
All
And
right, so
Zenosha-
we're in a room with a whole bunch of different tiers.
A
And-
wide variety of levels, yes.
A wide variety of levels.
Not a
And-
wide variety of salty liquid coming out of somebody's eye.
Yes. And we all scattered when when what we didn't know was JR charged at us. And then JR waved and we realized what was going on.
To be fair, Chroma waved first.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Because
But also,
Chroma
to be
wasted
fair,
everything.
if Chroma had not waved, JR would have waved.
If Chroma had not waved, we would all have wondered if she was possessed by something.
I learned it from watching you.
Yay!
Canonically, that's true.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right.
So JR's
So,
arm is
let's-
still broken, and we only have one artifactor.
Yes, Chroma, would you consider replacing the gear that you found into JR's arm?
Yes!
If we can
And it's
pry
artificer, not
JR
artifactor.
If we can pry JR out of their giant robot?
Hey,
It's kind of like sitting but standing at the same time.
that's very cool, but it's hard to repair you while you're in there.
To be fair, this thing is quite large, so JR is like 3 chromas high right now.
To be fair,
Actually, is there room for me to come in?
There is not. It's a very tight squeeze for JR.
Aw.
oh no. Oh,
But anyway,
no.
you can go right back in.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Ellie has
Is
put 2
something
and 2
wrong?
together and has possibly gotten 4 or 5 if they're very large values of 2. But in any case, JR does reluctantly get out of the mech and presents their
Please.
shoulder for repairs.
I beg all of you to not go in there while JR's out of it.
I had no
Please.
plan to.
I don't need to be in a mech or robot or whatever that is.
Okay.
Um,
Do you think there's no air in there, or?
I think JR will be very upset. And also, if it closes up and you can't figure out how to get out, I don't know how to get you out.
It listens.
It listens?
It listens to you.
It was not designed for Warforged.
Gnomes.
It was not designed for gnomes.
Oh.
It was designed by gnomes. Slight difference.
Well, if JR fits in there, that means species like elf and human fit in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. I wouldn't want to steal your new friend anyway. I mean,
Yeah, me neither.
they're your friends. Your mount. I guess. Anyway, come over here so that I can roll investigation at you.
You already have inspiration, and go ahead and give a roll.
Chroma, I am just making sure that in the heat of the moment, you don't decide to feel that it would be nice to know what feeling like what being inside a giant robot.
Okay, that does sound like something I do. So I
At some
can't really
point,
get mad.
at some point, the Force turret's going to try to climb inside the mech.
Oh no.
Hey everyone, I'm really glad to be here. Stone Defender smash!
Oh no.
That is not canon.
No.
So it's definitely not canon. But to move the plot forward slightly, Chroma rolled a 22, and canonically I've said that this gear has been a problem. It's been a long-standing problem for quite some time. And so with that said, a 22 is not repairing it permanently. You're certain it's going to come out again because every time you fixed it, it's popped out again. It's going to be replaced at some point. But you're fairly certain that if JR never does anything with combat ever again, it'll last for a good long time. So you just have to make sure that, JR doesn't get involved in combat ever again.
Okay, so it'll hold for now, but if you do anything stressful with it, it's probably going to come out again before too long. So I guess it's a good thing you found a friend.
It kept me alive, so yes.
Oh.
And
Chroma,
JR
what is
climbs back in the mech.
gear?
Oh, wait. Before JR climbs back in the mech, Chroma, you said you were injured.
A little bit.
JR casts Cure Wounds on you. You heal 8 points of damage.
Aw, thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else need healing?
I'm all good, but thanks.
I'm good, thank you.
And JR
I
climbs
have-
back in the mech. Sorry?
A little damage, but not enough to care about.
JR looks at you and says, on a scale of 1 to 117, how much?
I feel about a 94. I'm okay.
I'm going to roll an insight check. JR looks at you for a little while, then nods, and gets in the mech.
I'm glad we agree.
And the mech stands perfectly still for a little while, and then it opens up, and JR says, I do not think you can hear anything I say when this is closed.
No, we didn't hear anything.
I asked if we were going to go and find the foci, go outside for a long rest, or look for whoever was playing the fiddle earlier.
Someone was playing the fiddle?
Didn't we say we'd wait here for their mystic seer thingy?
It's
I
seer.
forget what they said.
They
It
said
could have been a
seer.
cello.
Seer.
I'm unfamiliar with stringed instruments.
Oh, that's understandable, but
And-
we didn't hear any of that, so must have been in a different part of this cave.
If
I
it was
guess.
if it was a cello, then it would clearly be Space Jaws.
I think this is the seer that they were afraid of.
Well, they did run away when they saw this coming, so
They have all been running away when they see me. Well,
that's probably good. I mean, you don't want to fight them all, I'm sure, but not by yourself.
Some of them wanted to eat the force turret.
they must have a very low wisdom score.
Probably.
Yeah, probably lower than mine.
Yeah,
Let's
There's
go
an out of
find-
context D&D.
Let's go finish finding the foci.
Yeah.
Yeah, if whoever's playing a musical instrument, I mean, I guess we'll hear it if we
Is
find them. I don't know. I don't know why you'd come in here for it. I mean,
in fairness, the acoustics are fantastic.
There is quite an
Okay.
echo.
yeah, that might be, but
The acoustics
you'd
are
also attract
fantastic.
like you'd attract everything in this place. So I mean, unless they had like a army with them or something to fight that off, and then battle gets loud. So why would you do this in here?
Well, they could have an army to fight them off, or they could be able to fight them off themselves. And either way, I do not want to encounter them.
It could
All
have
right.
been a recorded song. Not
Oh.
all equipment was taken. This was still here.
This is true.
Maybe it was a recorded.
All things
Song.
considered, however, let's go find the folk.
All right,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yep.
Okay. And you continue, and it's not too much longer before you do become aware that there is, especially with some of your passive perceptions. And I will continue to say I'm thrilled when people have higher passive perceptions because I don't need to make people roll for things. I can just give you the exposition. A few of you do pick up the sound of a stringed instrument playing, and the sounds of combat.
We should check that out.
We definitely should check that out.
Probably. I mean, it's really weird that I got that right, that they'd bring an army with them, but let's go see whose side we're on.
Okay.
I have a
And,
horrible feeling about this.
Yeah, me too. But
Yeah.
but it's a
Looks like I
lovely
was
day in the
outvoted.
cave system,
Mm.
and I am a
We are
terrible DM.
horrible gooses.
Okay. So you follow the sounds of the music. It may be a violin.
Zax doesn't know the difference.
I am
Mm.
thrilled to death. I am positively delighted
Mm.
that we, as a group of friends, have been playing Dungeons and Dragons long enough that I only need to mention a thing or two, a small trinket of information
Mhm.
to get these kinds of reactions from people. They can be total red herrings. It doesn't matter. This is not an unred herring because you are investigating.
Right.
And it is not an undead herring because there are
We're
people
also
with
here.
better perceptions than me involved.
It is, however, a red tiefling.
all I can think of
I thought
when you
so.
say playing the violin, and this is purely me, all I can think of is the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie and Rutger Hauer's character playing the violin as Buffy comes to confront him.
It's
I need
so
to go
long
and
since I've
rewatch
seen
that movie.
Yeah, it's been
has
a
been
while.
decades.
Hmm.
I think the last time I saw that movie, I wasn't married.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Or less than 4 years, but whichever. So, moving forward, which is what you've been
Moving
doing,
forward.
you find, you come in on the scene just in time to see a bunch of these smaller creatures, like the ones that were in the cave with you before JR hopped in and waved at everyone. Not the spider creatures. These are different. The creatures that were, the ones that, there were a lot of them and they were all talking about who they were going to eat. They only have 2 arms and 2 legs.
Okay.
Yes. There were spider-like creatures. Those are different.
All right.
It's you mistook one unspeakable horror for a different unspeakable horror. It's a very easy mistake.
Yeah. It's an easy mistake.
Yes.
The keys are right next to each other.
I mean, when you look for them in the monster manual, they're right next to each other. Well, there's a pile of dead ones,
Oh no.
and there's 2 left on top of the pile, and they're kind of sort of facing off with each other. And as you arrive, one of them manages to rip the throat out of the other one, and they hold up a bloody hand in triumph, and they look over at the violinist and smile and say, "I win! I win!" "Yes, very good. You win." And then the person with the violin pulls out a hand crossbow and shoots the thing in the head.
Hey, look, it's the Pompatus of Love.
Why
I'm sorry,
did you
what?
do that?
Well, they were planning on eating me.
Fair enough. I had to hit him
Sorry.
with the hammer,
That was-
so I get it.
I don't
That
have a
was
Still
not
hammer.
kind of
character.
cruel,
I know.
but
If I had a hammer,
Then you'd hit him with it. Yeah.
I'd hammer in the morning.
That was not an in character joke. That was an out of character joke. It's a
So was mine.
two-layer joke.
so hi.
I just didn't. I didn't know if you didn't hear me or if you didn't understand it.
I actually did not hear you. I talked over
I
you.
Went right over my
I
head.
only heard part of it.
I
And
said,
then
"Oh hey." I said, "Oh hey, it's the Pompatus of Love."
I did hear that,
Okay.
and my in-character response was,
Took
"I'm
me a
sorry,
minute.
what?" But I did get the reference. Thank you.
Some
For the
people
record,
call
he
me
doesn't go by
Maurice.
Maurice. Just Mo. But where are my manners? Hello. My name is Mo. I'm a traveling bard, sometimes a business person, and sometimes I settle old grudges. And you are?
Hi, I'm Chroma. We're from the Circle of Tales.
Kind of.
I'm Zenosha.
What do you mean, kind of?
Well, not on the Circle of Tales, but,
No, that's the Council of Tales.
Council.
We're all part of the Circle of Tales. It's just that the council's where all the talky part happens.
Politics is complex. I don't, anyway, yeah.
Politics is complex.
It's over my head.
It's a fun hobby from time to time, but it's tedious.
Yep, I've seen some tedious with that. I'm Zax, by the way.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance. And you are? Mo has inclined his head towards Neri, because I think Neri's the only one who hasn't introduced... Oh, Neri and JR haven't introduced themselves, but he's currently looking over at Neri. Oh, Neri is speaking from across the room. So, okay. So, while we again stall for time, which is fitting, change this episode title to Stalling for Time.
Mm.
But how would I distinguish this episode from other episodes where we stall for time?
Exactly.
Yes. The new campaign title, Stalling for Time, Pack Tactics 4. Oh my gosh, the whole theme would be time travel.
Yeah, I was just about to say kobolds. Why am I saying that in my Chroma voice?
Because you can.
Kobolds
Yeah, because you can.
time traveling is not a great idea.
Now, I have to be careful because Kobolds in Space was a one-liner joke. And we ended up having a 31-session campaign so far.
Yeah.
And a spin-off.
And a spin-off.
And a spin-off standalone tabletop RPG with different rules. Yes.
Right.
So, who knows? I might have to come up with another campaign for after this one. But that's going to be a long time in the future. I have so many wonderful plans and things to show you. So many delights. Anyway, Mo inclines his head towards Neri and JR and says, "And you are?"
You can call me N.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, N. And you? I'm
The
sorry, I
robot
didn't
is
quite
called-
catch that.
You can't... JR, he can't hear you unless you open that thing.
It opens up, "I am JR. Oh, well, you are delightful, aren't you? What a marvel.
So we came over here because we heard battle, and I'm pretty good at that, but it looks like you took care of everything.
So are you the seer person or the sage person or the whatever it is?
I hope not.
Okay, I hope not too.
No, I'm just here to settle a grudge, that's all."
What kind of grudge?
Mo looks over at the pile of dead bodies.
Oh, them? Those were the grudge?
Well, they kind of... Well, these are cannon fodder. No, they serve more powerful beings from the same not places. It's complicated. Anyway, they've...
Oh. Do you know about these sorts of things?
To a limited extent.
Do you know what I do with a decanter of endless nope?
He blinks at you.
Chroma, you have to explain what you mean. Not everyone has the same conversations we do.
Well,
I'm going to guess that you took some unspeakable horror and placed it inside... Did you put it in a decanter of endless water?
no, my
we-
decanter of endless water's fine. But
Can I have
my
10 seconds?
We fought this amorphous mob of meat that was always changing form, and even after we...
regenerating.
Yeah,
It regenerates.
Even-
Every 6
several
seconds, you
times.
gotta, hit it again, or it's gonna get up.
So I
So-
put it in my bag of holding. But now I don't have a bag of holding, I have a decanter of endless nope. So do you know how to get rid of the nope so it's not endless anymore?
Okay, 10 seconds.
Oh, sorry.
No, this is out of character.
Oh.
Hi, Matt.
Hello.
We have JR in a mecha, and we've just met Mo.
Why is JR
And
in
Mo?
Mecca?
Has
I found a
it.
thing.
Chroma.
I found a thing. Yeah.
JR had their own adventure and came
Yeah.
back with a mech. It is sentient but not sapient.
An important distinction.
Indeed.
So basically, he found a giant mech made out of stone that's acting as his mount.
Yeah, kind of. It's
And
kind of a mech. He's kind of in it.
it's operational when they close the hatch. But when they close the hatch, no one can hear anything they say.
Chroma, we gotta install speakers in that thing.
All right, but I don't have any parts right now because the bag
When
of
we get
holding that
back
I
to the
usually
star.
put all the parts in is kind of full of nope.
When we get back to the star.
When we get back to the star.
Well, you see, this is why I really enjoy talking to adventurers. You discover the most interesting problems. Things I have never in all my years encountered before.
So you're saying you don't know how to make it not a bag of endless nope?
Short answer, no.
Fair
Long
enough.
answer, not yet. It is something that I will think about, and should I find a solution, I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
How are you? Oh, right! Bard! Sending.
Yes.
Actually, Chroma, I have an idea about it, but let's talk about it
Oh.
later.
Okay.
Have you
So,
considered dumping it into a bag of devouring?
I don't have a bag of devouring. I'd have to make one when we haven't really had that kind of downtime.
Oh, I have
Also,
the best
depending on
idea
the
about
nope,
that.
it might merge with the thing that's the nope.
Oh no.
That
Oh.
would be bad.
I mean, it'd be fun to fight for a little while, but if it regenerates, that's just going to go on forever.
I prefer to end problems, solving them in ways that don't cause new ones. So we'll put that on the maybe pile. In any case, why are you all here?
Because the really important technology is out of blue smoke, so we need a power source that can substitute, and we're looking for it.
Oh, you're from the moon, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
How did you know that?
Not originally.
Well, no, not originally. No one these days is originally from the moon.
Not yet.
These
No,
days?
not yet. Well, there is an old base on there, isn't there? Been around for
Yeah.
more than a few generations.
I
How
was
did you
not aware
know
that was
that?
public knowledge.
It's not.
He's a bard. He's a bard. He knows things.
Well, why was he casting that about the moon?
Casting
Bards?
You know, you weren't casting legend lore?
No, I learned about it the old-fashioned way.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
We're
There
told
are records.
there
They're
are-
very esoteric, very widely scattered, but there are records. And keeping secrets
We're-
is a hobby of mine. A hobby
We're
that some
told that-
things... Sorry?
No, I did not mean to interrupt you. Please feel free to proceed.
Well, now I don't feel like being as angry about it anymore. I was going to be very dramatic, but fine. Sometimes other things get in the way of my various pursuits. And on more than one occasion, and he picks up one of the smallish corpses and then drops it again, wipes his hand off, get in the way. Bardia was a total loss, but never mind about that. In any
I
case,
understand.
Kind of sinister.
Sometimes you go
bard.
one direction and you discover there are brambles, and the brambles are just too much trouble.
oh no, it
So
wasn't
you
that
go
at all.
another.
They ended up assimilating a few of my business partners.
Oh!
That sounds unpleasant.
That's a much different.
I don't think I
Story.
understand, but it doesn't sound good.
Yes,
Also,
I wouldn't
Ennis,
recommend it.
Anyway,
So I know you were going around with Daldane, so is this someone you know?
Who were you asking?
Chroma was aiming that at Neri, but
The chroma is chroma,
Chroma
so
is trying to. Chroma's
Okay.
It's attempting to ask Neri if this is like someone. If this is one of Daldane's
actually, that's a
friends,
fair question.
because-
That's legitimately a fair question.
because Chroma connected Sinister Bard with somewhat sinister aesthetic bard she knows of, and came up with a possibly entirely wrong and silly conclusion.
No, that's an entirely.
It's a
fair
valid question. Miri, give me a history check.
All right. Can I do insight instead?
Not for this check.
Okay. Well, then that's a 7.
Okay? No, you've never heard of Mo before.
Okay. It's true that I've traveled with Daldane, but I don't think she's mentioned. I apologize. I don't think she's mentioned you.
You know Daldane?
Very well.
Oh, that's delightful. How's she doing?
She's on her world tour right now, as far as I know.
Yeah, she's been doing that tour for, 5 years now? I've
Well,
seen
there
her
are a
perform
lot of
twice.
worlds.
I mean, yes,
It's a
there
vast
are.
world.
I prefer Chroma's plural answer better. In any case, I don't think that Daldane would totally know me, but I have seen her perform twice. She's quite skilled. The We're So Quiet is an incredibly catchy tune. I
That's
may
cool.
have done a cover or two of it on occasion.
It's the one black metal tune in her repertoire.
Nice.
It's really weird because she goes off stage for a little while and then comes back with black and white face paint on to make her look like a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, heck with that. Prestidigitation is the
We're so quiet.
Yep.
a wizard hired for the occasion casts Control Wind to just blow air on the entire stage.
Somebody casts haste and plays the guitar really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They cast haste on everyone in the backup band. The drummer goes nuts.
His name is just Animal. Nobody knows why.
Quiet, 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 quiet.
We are just all over the place today.
We're
don't
playing
know,
a Kobold
Animal.
campaign.
Beat drums. Beat drums.
Nom, 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 nom. By the way, I have commissioned Art of Mo. And it,
Oh, cool.
yes, it may, I don't know the timeline for it, but it may be done by the time this episode goes live. So I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
But yeah, Circle of Tales and stuff.
And we've been told that in these caverns somewhere are a set of planar foci that we might be able to use to power the device on the moon that we power.
Oh, yes. They were brought here by Malathomax, if I remember correctly. You
Uh-huh.
Anyways,
do
familiar.
That's what we
know
were
that they were
told.
locked in place, right?
That's what we heard. We haven't found them yet. So
But they can be
I don't know.
unlocked.
They can. Again, this is news to me.
Well, they should be able to be unlocked. I mean, I haven't tested the theory yet, but
They didn't start
They
off
were
here, but they
moved-
were moved here. So there has to be a way.
To move them again.
That is a fair point.
Well, I do happen to know my way around these caves, and I was heading in that general direction for my own reasons altogether. I wouldn't mind accompanying you if you'll have me.
okay.
Of course.
Sure.
Clearly, you can fight. I mean, you got those things to fight for you. So,
I don't fight at all.
okay.
You make other things fight by casting
Oh,
charm
is it-
spells on them?
oh no.
Charm, no,
don't
I would
fight.
not waste a spell slot on that. I
I
simply,
don't fight. I murder.
I simply let these beings know that I had a prize for them, and they did the rest.
Wow.
Oh.
I can be very persuasive when I want to be, and when the things I'm talking to are perhaps less intelligent than the average kobold.
Indeed.
I'm not sure if that's a
Hmm.
compliment or an insult.
Well, the
They
beings
wanted
being
to eat my force turret.
yes,
This
the
is
beings I
true.
was
Okay,
disparaging
yeah,
were not
yeah.
kobolds.
Okay, good to know.
Right. Well, right. To answer your question, I find means of getting by without having to resort to violence on my own part.
Well,
But I am-
to each
Except
their
for
own.
the occasional crossbow bolt.
Well, the Tiefling's got to protect themselves somehow.
Naturally.
Well, if you want to go towards the chamber where Malathomax was eventually defeated by a ragtag band of adventurers, right this way.
Cool.
Thank you.
One of whom you know.
We know a lot of them.
We know, yeah.
Not
One of
just
them's
Aldane.
my mom.
The Tiefling stops at this.
What?
But she,
Yes,
what?
she's,
but she doesn't
she's-
tell the story very well.
Mo just
Uh,
looks at you.
Yes, Chroma is the child of Zeely. Zax was trained by Gox.
Yep.
I was trained by Xanthus.
Snacks was trained by
Or-
Xanthus.
No, sorry, Aristobulus.
Aristobulus.
Yeah,
yes.
Xanthus is a different
The other one.
character
A different character.
who is actually a
looking at it,
Tiefling.
Sorry.
I was
Okay.
looking at his sheet when you said tiefling, and it made the connection in my brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, I
I
don't
trusted
think
what Matt
Xanthus
said.
and Mo would get along.
No, they probably would not.
Although Xanthus has been very tolerant of heroes, so maybe they would get along okay.
But we'll find out.
Maybe.
Yes,
And,
Snacks was raised our Trained by Aristobulus.
And Zenosha was
I don't think Marwise
trained
was
by
there.
Marwise. Was Marwise not there?
I
Marwise
think
wasn't there.
Marwise
Marwise
was-
came in season 2.
This is Neri asking.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe so. I mean, Marwise, she tried to tell me a lot about the entire history of the Kobold group, but she
I think I-
could give more detail what stuff she was there, and most of this Malthalafax
Either way.
stuff is new.
Either way, Marwise is one of the Grand Kobold champions on this world.
Well,
I
technically on
mainly-
the moon right now.
I mainly know of Marwise because of her fantastic library.
She is very
It
proud
is
of
a
it.
fantastic library.
And I do believe everyone who is wise enough knows something about, I'm going to say Chroma, knows something about Zili.
Is that
It's-
something that she likes to set things on fire? Because that's usually what people remember or about her when I say she's my mom.
She created a
is that.
satellite.
There's also the fact that she went into the mouth of an ancient green dragon that was halfway towards becoming a god of its own, and lived to tell the tale with an extra set of wings bequeathed by a different god.
Yeah, and she's proud enough of that without saying it that way.
Well, one is wise to pay attention when any being on this world gains a blessing from a deity.
That makes sense.
And I'm told that Daldane is the reason there's someone I don't know about.
I suppose that would probably be Tiamat.
Who?
It's a very long
Wait, I thought
story.
we all knew about that because of the homework.
Yeah, Marwise.
Yeah. I kind of didn't do a lot of that, but I got the main idea.
I
from
think
Cox.
N here was trying to drop a hint that you weren't supposed to say something.
Oh, I don't
Come on.
usually.
This is a
I
joke.
don't pick up on those very well. I am bad
It's
at
supposed to
picking
be
up
a
on
gag.
hints to not
Sorry.
tell people things, and that's why I'm not allowed to keep secrets about diplomacy anymore. Because well, the secret diplomacy was being not secret, and
It's okay. It's okay. And for
I'm
the record, dropping out of character, the DM is trying to relegate things so that when he thinks something is funny, it is not always right for the NPCs he's controlling to react in a way that says that the NPCs think something is funny or was a joke. And I am very glad that I have a push to talk button
Yeah.
because not
okay,
everything.
You know...
Sorry?
Oh no! Wait, you said you knew lots of secret things. That's how you know about.
I was going to say out of character that was supposed to be a joke.
Chroma has a wisdom of 8. This is showing up a lot tonight.
Mo has a wisdom of yes.
Neri has a wisdom of 20, so
Okay. Well, we've been
Shoot.
playing for almost exactly an hour.
Wow.
So what do you say we take a short break? We can
yeah.
catch
let's-
Matt up a little bit. And when we reconvene, Mo will have led you to the death chamber of Malathomax. It's a lovely
All right.
place. The ambiance is
To,
chef kiss.
be right back.
Yep.
Was that the right button?
Wrong
I don't
button!
know.
Guess we'll find out.
We see Mo walk into the room, and Bitey happens to be attached to his cape.
Oh no!
Why do you even have
Oh,
that
no.
button? I love that canonically there is a kobold named Bitey.
Yes, there is.
There is, and I believe it's one of Chroma and Zach's, and
It's a hatchmate, yes.
Yeah.
Named by JR's dad.
Yes.
I was in a campaign that had a kobold named Stabby. He had 2 words in his vocabulary: Stabby and no. No Stabby.
I mean,
Stabby. No Stabby. No Stabby.
and if you're using them by themselves, they could even be synonyms
Yes.
in certain specific situations. I'm just going to take
What do
Stabby.
you have?
Okay, maybe I won't take it.
Stabby! No!
I could wax nostalgic on a wide variety of kobold tales, but I should probably not. So,
We all could.
yes. So Mo is happy to point the way and does so for you to reach the final chamber. He does give you a tour where he says, and here is where I'm told that Aristobulus cast such and such a spell, and over here a ranger named Vex was eaten. It was very drastically. He got better. Don't worry. He did get better. And here, the ranger Vex was eaten. Like, didn't you already say he got eaten? Yes, it happened more than once. I was really worried about him. Apparently, Vex was eaten no fewer than 3 times on the course that you're taking by various
About
things.
right.
And you reach a point where Mo points out that there used to be statues here, and there was a secret door that could only be opened if you broke one of the statues.
Oh, so that's why we're not supposed to mess with statues.
Well, it depends on the statue, but there's a non-zero number of statues that used to be and or still are people.
And you had to break...
Well, I
Ooh.
didn't, but the adventurers who came through did end up breaking one of them. Slightly. If I remember correctly, they took off a finger. Maybe a hand. I think it was a hand. Canonically, it was Mayros who did it. Tom's character. He did break off a hand because it was an orc, and his character canonically hated orcs. But never mind about that. As you're continuing through, now every now and then, in front of you or behind you, you hear skittering or see something that peeks in and then peeks away. So there's things that are there, but they're keeping their distance, and they are acting like they're keeping their distance. They are not skittering casually. Thank you.
Hey, if they're leaving us alone, I'm okay with it.
That's probably
Every-
smart of them.
Every single time I can make that reference, I'm going to make that reference. It is a good reference.
It's an older reference, but it checks out.
You already have inspiration. You're not getting any more.
I know!
You got to spend this first, and you will have the opportunity soon. Soon, TM. And the same area with the statues. Mo also points out, and this is a spot where, well, a certain dragonborn met her end. Sort of.
Oh, I think I've heard about that.
Yes. One Thava, who had apparently been a thorn in the side of the adventurers for quite some time. A few of them were very, very happy about the results. I wonder how they'll feel when they learn it didn't take.
Well, sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
Huh. Good to know.
But to be fair also, sometimes after a near-death experience, or, frankly, actual death experience, some people turn over a new leaf. I've seen it happen more than once. May have happened again. Who's to say? But now, we have almost reached our destination. We are coming in for a landing. Please keep your seatbelts fastened until the light has been turned off. I'm making references that none of you would know anything about.
No, not
I
a
do that
clue.
sometimes.
No, I think I understand this.
Oh, wonderful.
This-
One of you does. Good.
This is,
Right.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble, Mo, but we had a group member previously who had a flying carpet,
And also, we have a spaceship.
and we do have a spaceship.
We do. Mm-hmm.
And also,
Well-
that sort of thing gets said a lot around artificers and, well, and said a lot by artificers. Though I'm not sure I've ever said it yet. Fiddlepunch has definitely said it, I think. Maybe. Possibly because,
Regardless, we're doing it.
Well, I, for one, am actually very happy about this news because I do like making that joke. And this just means I'm going to need to spend less time explaining it.
Excellent.
Yes. So right this way to our Chamber of Disappointment, where you're going to find that the elemental foci are indeed locked in position and not in that person's hands right there. Oh dear.
Wait, what?
What?
I drew my bow.
Hello?
Oh, here we go.
Of course, Chroma says hello. Of course we lead with that. So you've walked into this very large chamber. It appears to have gotten even larger than it was originally. If you had been told the story from your various patrons who were here before, in the course of the battle against Malthomax, there was a wall that sort of was removed and made the chamber larger at one point. But if you were not told that story, you would not be made aware of it. In any case, this room was a certain size that was incredibly large, and then it got to another size that was even larger. There were signs all around that there was various bits of machinery and stuff installed in places. There were platforms built. There were little... Imagine, if you will, you know how there's a construction site and a trailer is brought in where it really just looks like a shipping crate that has a door on the side?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a few of those here. But it looks like everything of value was dismantled and moved out. There's a few mounting brackets and stuff on walls and stuff. There's a few bolts hanging in various places. But everything else has been cleared out. The edges of your dark vision show things sort of creeping in and looking at you from what they believe to be a safe distance. No one tell them about... yeah. No one tell them about Zax.
Yeah,
Or
I can fix
Zenosha.
that.
Or me.
Or actually, any of the party members, to be honest. JR is the only one who doesn't have a ranged attack. Although, to be fair, Zax has one ranged attack, and
Then I gotta go get
they
it.
charge in.
Yeah.
I'm
If
going.
they aren't
I'm
stunned.
Right.
I'm
right.
going along.
It only
one of the
happened once.
walls. I'm moving along one of the walls.
I am walking straight towards whoever it is.
So I'm following her.
Oh, fun fact. The being... Actually, no, never mind. It's got a movement speed of 30. That makes sense. For some reason, I was looking at the stats for something else, and it had a movement speed of 60 today. I forget what I was looking at. It was something for... It wasn't for tonight's session. And somehow my brain got stuck in the thought that JR's mech had a speed that was double JR's speed. But that's not true.
Okay.
Oh well. Digression aside, Mo was caught in the middle of their grand reveal, in his grand reveal. And it's a shame, because he was oh so ready to be smug about it and ready to be consoling to you when you realized that whatever plan you had to make these foci vacate this location when a literal city full of gnomes could not manage it, has just realized that this being that is also on the edge of your dark vision and is wearing an ornate robe, and they have a porcelain mask, and there's things moving underneath in a way that you don't want to see things moving, and that Neri has seen before.
Hello?
And it's holding
Chroma,
a
no.
shiny.
This is not someone we want to screw around with. This is someone we want to destroy.
You know them?
I have seen them in dreams.
Oh, that ain't good.
Is this something called nightmare fuel?
I do believe that is a
Oh,
correct term.
yes.
The last time I saw one of these things was in fact in Bardia, and it looks like this is going to be round 2. And I love that as we've been talking about this, people are putting their initiative rolls in chat already.
Of course. Okay, so
Remember, there's no such thing as a nat 1 when
Nat
you're doing
20.
initiative rolls.
Chroma, do not make friends.
yeah, this
Is it okay if Chroma influences people, though?
I don't
Sure.
have any of those spells.
Chroma,
Yes?
make holes.
Okay.
So, befriend a paladin? You already did. Their name is JR.
Also, how far away did you say this was?
Everything that you can see that is not an ally, or Mo, I don't know if you consider Mo to be an ally or not, but for the sake of argument, let's say Mo is an ally. Everything
I
you can
think
see...
Mo is a friend.
Mo
well,
is
Mo
happy
didn't
that you
attack,
believe
so
that,
Mo's probably an
and
ally.
he's happy to agree and to act like a friend. Everything you can see that is a potential enemy is at the edge of your dark vision, so everything is 60 feet away.
Oh, cool. So I think I have the highest initiative roll.
I think
It's
so.
actually...
I think
Well,
you do.
No, hold on. I did a thing.
You did a thing.
Standing by.
Can you guys hear? I'm playing with dice from the D&D
No,
Beyond
it
thing.
doesn't come over.
Okay, cool.
If I leave my dice sounds turned on, it'll come over because all of
Right.
your
it's all
record...
recording on
well,
your end.
you won't hear it, but it'll be in the recording.
Hmm. Okay,
But
because I didn't know
none
if
of
that
yours
dice was going to be a problem, but yeah.
Had we
Not
rested
natural.
before this, or are we still...
Is my
We-
force turret still here?
We have
I
not
don't think
rested.
we've rested.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
But it has been more than an hour since we've messed around, so my thing one has gone away.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes when you add the travel time and the conversations. Like, we spent
Yeah.
about an hour in-game
Oh,
conversing.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And my
Yeah, you're
elemental
right.
spirit went away. That's all I was checking in. I have some damage carried over from the last fight we were in.
Okay.
Okay. I am good.
So, yes, Chroma, you are going first.
So, I know you said to make holes in it, and I know that, you said that, right, and I know my force turret's gone, so usually the first thing I do would be that, but, I'm gonna just, throw this grease grenade.
You're not going to throw a decanter of endless nope at it?
Interesting.
No, I don't want nope in my face.
I mean, I don't think they want nope in their face either. Let it be known the DM is making a horrible suggestion. The DM is actually quite happy that he doesn't have to look up the stats for that. It's in a book over to my right that I had to find the page it's on again.
So, grease.
Okay. They all start
Oh, no.
singing about Sandra D.
No,
Thank you,
no,
Andrew.
artificer grease, not bard grease.
I was going to say, please stay in your lane. That's not in character. That is not in character. That is not canon. Okay, where do you cast Grease?
Right under the thing.
The biggest of the nopes. Okay. What do I
Yeah.
have to roll?
Dex saving throw DC 16.
What's its dex save bonus? Ah, interessant. That's a 19.
All right, there is now grease there, and for a minute, and creature, and it is causing Dex saving throws whenever creatures start their turn there or enter the space.
Oh, that's right. There are other creatures here. I should roll for some of them. Okay, well, one of the nopes got a nat 20. One got a 17. That's also a 12, a 9, and a 6.
12, 9, and 6 all are going to fall prone.
They were kind of low to the ground already, but now they're doing that thing where that you see in like a Three Stooges thing where they try to get up and they should just have all their limbs slide out from underneath them again. But there we go. Anything else?
My turret's not up, so no.
Okay, next up is Neri. I could have sworn you could summon your turret more than once per day, but whatever.
I can summon it more than once per day, but it takes an action.
Okay.
Firing's a bonus action, but summoning is an action, and I wanted to use my action to cast Grace.
That's fair. Neri, you're up. Neri?
I'm sorry, I forgot I had push to talk on.
I mean, to be fair, I did the same thing yesterday. Literally the same thing.
First, I used my last Hunter's Mark to cast Hunter's Mark on the masked wizard, who's made out of worms, I guess. Then, double attack.
Roll your first attack
Do it.
by itself. There's a reason for this.
26.
Okay, so here's what happens. A 26 would have totally hit it right between the eye holes of its porcelain face. But it does not. Instead, the area around it seems to warp and bend in a weird way. And then, it's standing over to your left. And one of the smaller nopes is where this thing used to be. And it takes an arrow to the face instead.
Oh, Snacks, it did your thing!
Yes, it did.
So go ahead and roll your damage, because that was definitely a hit.
He cheats. I mean, he copied me.
13 damage.
Yep. I get to make one less attack roll. Thank you.
Oh, got that one.
Second
a lot
attack's
more where
a
that came from.
24.
Well, the shame is that it did that as a reaction, and you don't get more than one reaction per turn.
You
24 is going to hit.
13 damage.
Noted.
Will a 16 hit?
A 16 will not.
Will a 28 hit?
It most certainly will.
And that last one does 17 damage plus 11 force damage from bursting arrow. And all other creatures within 10 feet of it also take that 11 damage from bursting arrow. Did that come through?
It came through. I was putting in the damage. You kill
All right,
3
just
more of
making
the
sure.
things.
Angry Neri is not someone you want to mess with.
Yep.
But that's her turn.
And hello to Ember Dracon Studios. Kobolds are cool. Currently do not have the time to look at character sheets because, ending an arc, boss battle. But good to hear you enjoy them too. All right, next up is going to be Zax.
Okay, so I will rage, of course. And how far away is this thing?
They are all 60 feet away because none of them have gotten their turn yet. So yes.
All of
Throw
them
it,
are
throw it,
60
throw it,
feet
throw
away.
it, throw it, throw it.
Throwing it. Yeah, I'm going to throw the hammer of thunderbolts at this thing.
But it's already used its reaction, so it can't teleport away.
Yeah. Imagine that, right?
But that means you might be able to stun them.
2 hits. Okay, so I rolled a 9. I have plus 12, so that's a 21 to hit.
That's going to hit.
Okay, here's the damage.
It's immune to hammer damage.
Yeah. Let's see. 5 plus 3 plus 8, 16.
Yes.
16 points of damage.
All right, so that's my action.
No, it's not
And
just that,
that's
because you are yeeting
twice.
the hammer, as LFA
Yeah.
has talked about, which means
Right, I did.
there's some other effect that is about to occur.
Stun.
They have to make a roll.
Okay.
And there is a reason why I had Zax's character sheet open, because I gotta look this up to make sure I get this right. You are starting to do this often enough that eventually I'll just have it memorized. But for now, I gotta look it up. It's a DC 17 con save.
Okay,
And-
it's armor class. I have armor class 17, so I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know what they
well,
have.
you're- This
I have
isn't-
a 16 though. No, that's not right. I had a 21 to hit.
You did. You hit. But this is
Yes.
if you use a charge, which is the main reason you throw a hammer of thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
They have to make a save.
Yes, they have
Okay.
to make a save, or they end up getting stunned,
Okay, I
and
understand.
they haven't gone yet, so they would lose their ability to do anything this turn other than that one reaction they did.
Okay.
But first of all, I have to make that save.
Okay.
Well, I'm not making the save. They have to make the save. You have not thrown a
Right.
hammer of thunderbolts at me.
Right. Right.
If you did, I would be very concerned. Actually, no, I wouldn't be. You're in California. I would not be
It'll take a
concerned.
while to
You're
get
not
there.
that strong. No one's that strong.
Not that strong. No.
Okay, what's their constitution? Oh, they don't have a constitution bonus? No, they do. They do. But not that much. Okay, congratulations. You have stunned the nope.
Awesome. Okay, so
They
that
have.
being stunned.
Oh no, they don't have a Constitution bonus.
Oh no.
Well, they do, but it's not different from their saving throw bonus.
Okay.
And you have also stunned a few of the smaller nopes.
That's cool. All right. Bonus
Most of them
stun.
are nowhere near, so.
All right, and it's 60 feet away.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I already threw the hammer at it, so I can't throw it again.
You could
I already
then
did
run
a
after the
bonus
hammer for
action.
30 feet and then be halfway there.
I think my walking speed is 40 feet, but
Okay.
yeah,
Or,
I'll do that.
okay. Now, I must caution you that if you do
Mhm.
this, you'll be 20
Mhm.
feet away from a bunch of nopes that would be able to run forward and meet you halfway while you don't have your hammer yet.
Right. I have other weapons.
That is also true.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, that's what I'm doing.
Also, if you get too close, there are going to be grease.
Right.
Nope,
Well,
the
I'm
grease
not
is in a
going.
different direction.
It. Sorry. What?
The grease is in a different direction. It teleported when Neri
Oh,
fired her first
okay.
arrow.
Right.
So yes, there is a greasy
Oh,
spot.
okay.
There is definitely a greasy spot that I have to remember who it's affecting, but currently it's not going to affect the big nope.
Okay. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to get my weapon and charging into battle.
Okay. Next up is Mo. Mo's looking around the room and saying, huh, this is very interesting.
Mo casts Polydisintegrate.
Mass polymorph. No. You are suddenly
my.
surrounded by adorable kittens. They all attack you. That was Chris's thing for his character from the last campaign. love to polymorph the evil things into cats. They still have claws. Keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So he looks around at everyone doing their things and, let's see, how could I best aid the situation? Zenosha, I have to say, you all have fantastic equipment that you seem to have gathered from various locations, but I really have to say, that right there, that thing you have, that is some stick. And
Yes,
you have
it is. Thank you.
And you have an inspiration die. So, any D20 roll that you make, if you want to add a D12 to it, you can do that to spend that inspiration.
All right. Thank you.
Next up is a bunch of nopes. 2 of them run forward, specifically towards Zax, because Zax put herself out there.
Yep. That's what barbarians are
Themself.
for.
I am.
Themself.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm so used to you playing other gendered characters, but never mind.
I've played
on that.
characters of various genders, yes.
Yes. And I'll eventually get everything right. Today is not that day, but
That's
someday.
cool. That's right. Just keep going. It's all right.
I'm also looking forward to the day when because they said they're going to be doing it, where they add a die roller to the encounter builder, so I don't have to hijack various character sheets to roll. Okay, so bonus to hit is 3. Does a 10 hit?
Nope. Armor class 17 doesn't hit.
Okay, well then, no, none of these are going to hit.
All right.
Okay, and the rest of them also run forward, or do they?
Yes?
All but 2 of the remaining ones that aren't stunned or
Or
greased
prone?
run forward. One of the ones in the grease does manage to scrabble their way out of it. They have the bits of fur that they have on them are now a silky sheen, and they're kind of slicked back. They took out a little plastic comb that looked like a switchblade, and they brushed it for a little bit.
Okay, still going to be difficult terrain for that one.
You're a jet all the way from you.
Pretty much. And there's our copyright strike. I love that joke. But 2 of them are still just slipping and sliding. And 3 of them are currently stunned until the end of Zax's next turn. None of you are within their movement speed, so they are now the ones that aren't stunned or whatever are 30 feet away from you.
Okay.
Except for Zax.
Right.
I have to click every time I want to move forward one in the initiative order, and it listed all these as separate entities. It is
no.
JR's turn. JR, what does JR do?
That's what he does.
Well, JR knows more about this mech than you do, canonically. For all I know, you looked up the character sheet, which is possible. But for now, JR assumes a defensive stance next to Zenosha and Snacks and holds their action. Zenosha? Cindy, yes. Yes. Snacks' turn.
Very well. Earlier we had summoned thing number 1. I am now going to summon thing number 2. And I will cast Conjure Elemental and summon the full-on Earth Elemental. Instead of using my 4th level version, I'm using my 5th level version.
A tabaxi with black and white fur and a very tall red and white hat pops in, says, "It's been done,"
pick up the
and
hat.
they leave.
There's more underneath.
It's a pebble elemental.
Yeah. I will, according to the spell, I will roll his initiative. He will do nothing on this turn, but on the next round he will get a turn on his own initiative order. Unless you want him to just go when I do, if that's easier for you.
At this point, considering the mistakes that have been made with adding things to this encounter tracker, let's just say it goes when you go.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But he does nothing this turn. He is simply summoned. There's a summoning sickness, as it were.
What? Magic the Gathering? But this is a Wizards of the Coast property.
Wait, they're the same! So he basically defends himself this round. That is my action for this round. I must concentrate on the spell. Otherwise, things could end badly.
And that would take us then to Zenosha.
Okay, so I have to decide between 2 spells I've been thinking about, and it's going to depend on which one. They're both area of effect, so depending on which one I can get more targets into. So, is a 20-foot round radius going to have more targets than a 60-foot long line?
The radius one's going to hit more targets because they have very inconveniently not lined up for you.
Okay.
Now here's
So-
the real kicker of a question. Do you want to hit more of them and make the DM's life easier? Or do you want to hit fewer of them and also include the big bad?
Right now, Zenosha's main thing is preventing that teleport spell, which she imagines can get quite frustrating. So she wants to target as many as possible.
Okay?
So if this is about you not wanting to roll a lot, you're about to hate this. They all have to make a dexterity 16 saving throws.
And what's the radius again?
It's 20 feet.
20-foot radius. So we're looking at it being 40 feet across.
8 by 8.
Wait, did someone just throw a fireball?
Ice storm, actually.
Oh,
Well-
Not quite as bad.
I see a 19 in here. I see a nat 20. 17. What's their target number?
It's 16.
Okay, it looks like 4 of them made their save. One with a nat 20. What's the damage?
So it does 2 different types of damage. And the roller doesn't do very well with that yet, so gonna have to do that manually.
I will tell you they only have one thing that would mitigate the damage, so you can add them both together if you want, and that's fine.
Okay, so that's 10 bludgeoning damage I had already rolled. And now I have to roll for the cold, which has the potential to be a bit more. But I rolled poorly, so 9 cold damage for a total of 19.
Oh, that only takes out the heaviest of them.
Sweet.
Four of them are still kicking.
You mean
Those that made the save take half, but yeah. Hello?
We can
I
hear
have
you.
to put in a lot of damage.
we
Give me
can
a
hear
moment.
you?
Okay.
Got to do all the math stuff now.
Okay, so I put all that in. Is that your turn?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of bonus actions right now, so... And I don't want to get closer to these things than I have to, so yeah.
Oh, that's okay. They're coming to you.
Oh no.
But first, Chroma.
Chroma, take out the guy in the mask. The rest will fall away. Chroma?
I am being asked questions in a side channel about what Chroma would know about a thing.
Okay, fair enough.
And if I had the time to put it in, I would have added a shrug emoji. It was a valid question.
Perfectly understandable. I have dogs barking, so I have transferred myself to push to talk.
That's my secret cap. I'm always push to talk.
hmm.
You can focus on the big bad, or you can focus on all the nopes that are making a beeline for you and your friends. And Mo, which to be fair, you also consider a friend.
So, considering the inadvisability of testing out my fireball grenade in this particular situation, Scorching Ray.
Get him, Ray. Never not funny.
Actually, wait, is anything friendly over at the Bad Mage?
No, the closest we've got
It's
is
me.
Zax is 20 feet away.
Oh,
And
okay,
has some,
so I do
some
not
fire
have
defense.
pack tactics.
Oh, okay, yeah. I wasn't sure what you were looking for, but Zax has some fire resistance from the armor, so...
I think specifically Chroma was looking for the ability to roll at advantage.
okay.
So 24, 21, 21, 23.
You did not roll below a 20 on that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's safe to say those all hit.
That's impressive.
All right.
The
let's
best part
see.
about this is because your focus for this happens to be a gun that you carved runes into.
I get to add that to one of them too.
I mean, that's great also. That is a yes and type situation here. I'm looking at the visual of we've got all this magic about to go down, and this one little kobold pulls out a gun and goes pew 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 pew.
Oh, hey, fun fact. Fireballs do 8d6 damage, but I hit with 4 rays because
Oh,
third level
no.
spell slot, so I'm rolling 8d6 damage. Actually,
Nice.
I'm rolling 8d6 plus 1d8 because arcane firearm.
Wow.
Remember, fireballs can be used on individual opponents.
30 fire damage.
Okay, now does this being happen to have immunity to fire? Well, considering they're currently on it, nope. Oh, and fun fact, they're still stunned.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Tum,
They-
tum, tum,
they have some-
tum.
They have some really dangerous abilities that you might not never know.
Because Chroma has some really dangerous abilities, too.
Well, not just that, but they were also stunned for one round. Thanks, Zax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Their reaction is recharged, so they get to use their reaction again after Zax's turn ends.
If it lives.
Well, I leave
Right.
that determination to Neri, because it is now Neri's turn, unless Chroma had a bonus action.
Does Chroma
I
have a
mean,
bonus
I could-
action?
I could use my decanter of endless water on it if it's
Put the
within
fire
30
out,
feet of
though.
me.
It is not.
So no bonus action.
Okay, Neri, you're up, and it's bloodied. Or would be, but the wounds appear to have been cauterized.
I cast Hail of Thorns, and then I attack. Does a natural 20 plus 14 hit?
I mean,
You rolled a 34.
I rolled a 34.
Wow.
And you crit.
you know,
You're
just this
gonna
once,
roll
I'll let
all
it
the
slide.
dice.
Yeah, I'll say that you hit this time.
All the dice. All the dice.
But don't ask
all
for
the
this
dice.
favor next time. One of these days, you're going to fight something, and I'm going to tell you that a natural 20 misses.
See, that's
That's
when they've cast mirror image.
Yeah,
That is one of the ways a nat 20 can miss, yes. What's the damage?
they have to make a dexterity saving throw at 17.
They're stunned.
Oh yeah, I think that might automatically fail. Let me look it up.
It's 11 o'clock at night. What happens?
Oh, yep.
That's
Stunned
41
creature
damage.
automatically fails dex saves.
I believe I heard 41 damage.
41 damage.
Wow.
Okay. And for your next trick,
That's attack 1.
that's what I'm saying.
Come on,
Does
Neri.
a 21 hit?
A 21 does hit.
And that's 15 damage.
This thing is really powerful, I said. Am I sure I want to have it go up against the party? I said. This could kill one of them, I said. Okay. It takes that damage.
Oh, and everyone within 5 feet of it also takes 16 damage.
Oh, those ones are already dead.
Okay, just making sure.
You killed them last time. The party has done 143 damage to this thing already.
Wow.
I'm not doing the math for the rest of them.
Neri is not someone you want to screw with.
Neri has met one of her nightmares and has decided, nope.
Yeah, we're not going to deal with this.
Maybe
Uh,
the real
that's my
no
turn.
was the friends we made along the way.
Open your bag of
Oh,
holding
no.
and ask. The real friends were the nope that you found along the way.
We did find
No,
it.
that friend gave me psychic damage.
Probably true.
Yes.
That's
and
a
you
great
still have your
out-of-context D&D
inspiration. I
quote as
can't
well.
give you more.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, Neri, is that your turn?
That's my turn.
Okay. Zax, I got
All
good
right,
news
so-
and bad news for you. You can
Okay.
very easily use your movement to run over and try to finish this thing off with your hammer, because your hammer's like right there. You can pick it up.
Right,
The
right.
bad news is you will invoke 2 attacks of opportunity along the way.
From what?
Oh,
From-
no.
From the 2 things that ran up and tried to attack you the first time.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh no, you might take 10 damage.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go run
Okay.
up and pick up the hammer and take whatever attacks of opportunity happen.
Okay, I am rolling. That is... They're both the same number. I rolled 2 17s.
It's armor class 17, so they got me.
Okay, they hit. So here's what happens. Because you reduce by half, because you're raging, you
Raging.
take 6 points of damage.
6 total.
Yes. Yeah, well, they each do 6 damage, but you're raging. So
Right. Okay.
6 times 2 divided by 2.
Amazing.
Okay. 6 points
And
of damage.
I
Got
need you to make 2 wisdom saving throws.
Okay.
So I keep bringing Adventure Time up because there's some great lines in Adventure Time, and one of them is, "Fool, I am doom. No, I too am doomed."
Well, I have never watched Adventure Time, but I have approximate knowledge of many things.
Yeah. I keep meaning to watch that. I'll get there eventually.
Well, I was paraphrasing a line from Adventure Time right there.
See,
And also I
haven't
was
seen
telling
it.
the truth. I have approximate knowledge of many things. So
okay.
I am going to need 2 wisdom saving throws from Zax.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Wisdom saving throw. that on the character sheet? Is that just the box at the top?
Not at the very top, but if
Oh,
you
saving
are-
throws. I see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the top
It's that-
left, there's
Yeah, with the other ones that are under
Yeah.
saving throws. Okay,
Although, to be fair, you have the same modifier for both.
I do. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one I hit.
Yeah.
All right. Here I go. All right. First one is 7.
Okay, don't bother rolling the second one because either fail will do the same thing and it doesn't stack.
Okay.
So here's what happens. Attack rolls against you have advantage until the start of this thing's next turn.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
But does Zax get to make their attack?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, these were the attacks of opportunity. And
Right. Because
now
I'm going
you have run
past or
forward.
trying to.
It was 20 feet away and you've got 40 feet of movement. So we could say you ran
Right.
forward. That's fine. You could have sauntered slowly if you wished while turning around and doing a little pirouette, thumbing your nose and wiggling your fingers at the Gru that don't have a turn yet, so they can't come after you. That would also work.
Yeah.
Be like
No, I'm just gonna
Quicksilver in
go,
all the Marvel movies. Actually, those weren't Marvel though. Those were Fox movies.
I
Never
don't
mind.
remember.
Yeah, it's never mind about that. I was digressing. And you are certainly able to pick up your hammer.
Mhm.
That is certainly an action that you can take.
Yep, doing it.
And now you have your hammer,
Right.
and you're in front of a nope,
Yep,
and you have an attack.
I do. I'm gonna hit it in the head with the hammer.
Go ahead and
That's
give
how
me
you
a
know
roll.
it's dead. Huh? Do a roll? Okay.
Yep.
That's a 19 plus 12 for 31 as a hit, 2 hit.
That's almost double its AC. Go
Okay,
ahead
I've
and
hit
roll
it.
your damage.
All right, here's the damage. It is 3 plus 5 plus 8 for 16.
How do you want to do this?
I'm gonna hit its head and make sure it's dead. Just smush. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Right through the porcelain mask.
Yep.
You expected some level of resistance. Not a whole lot. You've got a strength of 25.
Mm-hmm.
But you expected the goo that the hammer creates when you normally hit something to be a bit more viscous and give a bit more resistance as it goes through.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it's not 100% there. But the hammer does in fact go through the mask, and it makes like Obi-Wan in episode 4.
Okay.
I go over and poke its throat with my foot.
You most certainly may attempt that on your turn.
Oh, right. We're still fighting the other things.
Right.
Okay.
I was going to say, don't do that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Next is Mo's turn. Mo looks around and says, "You know, I'm not really sure any of you needed my help.
But we were still glad to have you here.
It is an honor and a privilege to be here for this experience, I assure you. But also, I think I kind of wasted an inspiration die.
Sorry.
No. Because you certainly didn't need it." And Mo holds his action. Because, let's face it, at this point, most of you... has anyone who did an attack rolled lower than a 20?
I don't remember.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Neri rolled lower than a 20 like once.
Yeah.
And still did most of the damage.
Yep, that's true.
Yes. So here's what happens. The rest of the Gru that can do so. It is dark. You might, in fact, be eaten by a Gru. But also that is what they're called in the monster manual. Run forward, and JR intervenes, because that's something JR can do when JR is in this mech. Because the mech has a reaction. And basically, you can see the mech, but it's covered in Gru. And JR does a wonderful ability that is not listed here, but let's just say if you are in a giant mech and you stop, drop, and roll, things that are holding onto the mech are going to take bludgeoning damage from the action.
Yeah.
Archbeth in chat is saying this is gruesome.
There's more than some Grus here.
And honestly, anything that JR doesn't smash, Neri can probably pick off.
I also have a
certainly.
reaction.
Thing 2 can start
Mhm.
smashing things.
Yeah, that too.
There were a couple Gru that were stunned and not killed, and there were a couple Gru, and by a couple in both these cases I mean 2. There were a couple Gru that still had not managed to get out of the grease, and for the sake of expediency, because of how many rolls over 20 have already occurred. And how low...
Hey, remaining nasty things. You should run away if you want to live.
By the
Don't
time
come with
Chroma
us if you
finishes
want to
saying
live.
this, there's none of them
They're not
left.
gonna live.
Oh,
They're not going to live.
never mind.
And JR does
Anyway,
not get up.
time to go for the planar foci.
Wait, what was that?
Huh?
JR doesn't get up.
JR, are you stuck down there?
I'm gonna go try to carefully pick up the mech, put it back right.
Okay, give me a strength check.
Okay, strength check.
Chroma, we may need your services.
Who's the next strongest to assist?
17 plus 8. 17 plus 11 is 28. That's
You
the
successfully
strength check.
pick up part of the mech.
I
Part
didn't
of.
hear you. Part of?
Yeah.
Part of them.
Is it in pieces?
It has been partially disassembled in ways that would infuriate Chroma if she sees it. Maybe don't let Chroma see. Oh, she's right there.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep
What
digging JR out of the
happened to
mech.
this thing?
It's face down right now.
JR?
Let's roll the mech over so JR can.
Yeah,
get
here
out.
you go. Let me try really slowly move that.
Okay. I'm not going to require another strength check. You've got a strength of 25 for crying out loud.
Mhm.
So I will say that when you roll it over, it still doesn't move, but it does not take a lot of insight to figure out where the hatch is. JR opened it multiple times in front of you, and Zax is very capable of opening it in a way that might have made a few snapping noises, that might have made Chroma flinch. I'll let
It's
you
alright,
decide.
it's alright as long as JR's okay.
JR is doing perfectly fine inside JR waves.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Well,
I'm out of here if you
In the
can.
meantime,
It stopped listening.
Neri is going to search the body of the masked mage.
get the focus!
There's a broken porcelain mask, a very ornate robe with a bunch of symbols on it that make your head hurt if you look at them for too long, and a shiny.
Just
I
one
take
shiny?
the shiny, and I also take the robe.
Okay. Now, yes, just one shiny. The shiny is about half, maybe 3/4 of the size of your head, which means if you're following the rules of evil overlords, it is smaller than the size of your head, and therefore it is available for you to consume it.
Yes, it's
No!
definitely consumable.
Because you should never
No,
consume a power source
no,
larger than
no.
your head.
No. If anyone puts this in their mouth, I will be very unhappy with them.
Is it the foci?
Well, it is, when you look at it, it is not a color. It is not a prism of colors. You don't look in there and see a rainbow, but you kind of get the sense that every color is in there. It's weird. All colors combined are white light. It's not white light that's emanating from this thing. You distinctly think you see the various colors, but you don't.
I'm going to wait until I can find a competent wizard to... All right, okay. That's a fair point. I'll pass it over to Snacks.
I can
The
help,
robe, I'm going to stuff in my backpack.
but also I should look for the other planar foci. Actually,
And
wait,
the
no.
planar
Someone with
foci-
a decent perception should look for the other planar foci.
I can help.
My perception is 19.
Hers is better.
Fantastic.
What are you looking for?
The
The
planar
planar
foci.
foci.
The others.
Well, there's a side chamber in here that is empty.
Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Oh no 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 no. Oh no 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 no.
Why are you
No,
upset?
Is there...
Because there's only one, and if there's only one, then the world is going to explode.
Really?
Yes. I mean, exploding isn't exactly what the mouth
Well-
says, but yes, they're keeping the world together, and for that, they need to be kept together.
Maybe they're not keeping the world together after all.
That's what we were told.
That's what the mouth says. I
Give
checked
me
the mouth. I believe the mouth.
give me a history check.
Who?
Snacks will
Well, you were
begin
all
looking
there
at the
for it,
thing.
so any of you could make the history check if you wanted to.
I got a 19.
Okay. The rest of you don't need to
Absolutely.
roll.
I
The,
am going to
I actually
use
got a
the
I got
20
a
on.
rock.
I got 20
I'm
on
gonna use
history.
a
Oh my
luck
gosh, this is
point on
glorious.
that.
The nat 20 from the barbarian. Yes, this is
Yeah.
great. So,
I'm going to assume whatever she's figured out came to her from Gox telling her.
Actually, I am
That's-
not using a luck
Snacks
point.
No.
comes into his own.
With an Arcana check, not a history.
Whoa.
Well, I'm checking out the thing that I was given with
Right.
the multicolors and
Yeah.
the wailing and the noises and the lights.
The wailing
Okay.
was mostly coming from me.
So here's the thing. What you were told was that the foci were ripping the world apart when they were very far apart from each other. The closer they were to each other, the more stable they were. And Snacks, your Arcana check of 23 lets you know that the thing in your hand is very, very powerful. You're not sure you need to make a detect magic check. And if you did, you would probably need to put on sunglasses first.
Yeah.
Maybe a welding mask.
So what I'm looking to determine is if this is one of our foci that we are looking for. There were 4, if memory serves.
Your verb tense is on point. I don't think there are 4 anymore.
That's bad. That's
No.
very, very bad.
No,
You
that's
think
very...
they combined them?
Very
necessarily.
Oh! One!
They merged.
Oh, wow. They can
Did he
do
not
that?
say that the closer they were, the more stable it was, or was that the opposite?
Yes, stable. The closer
That's
they are,
exactly
the stabler
true.
they are. So one, if they
So
combine
if
into
we
one,
have-
that's the stablest they can be. Let me
That's-
cast Identify on it.
I wouldn't do that.
Is that a good idea? I mean,
Yes, it's a great idea. Let me cast Identify on it.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh, Chroma, maybe not. I mean,
This is
I
so
get- I
on
get
point
the
for this
feeling
campaign.
that-
Chroma says, I'm going to do a thing. The rest of the party says, I wouldn't.
The magic emanating
Chroma.
off this device is extremely a lot.
My
History has
sunglasses
shown
can
that
take
we
it.
can't stop Chroma from doing this.
yeah,
So
well,
I'm just
I
gonna
mean, we could
prep a
try.
healing spell.
Stepping in the
Chroma.
way might get you bitten.
Yes.
Based on what I understand from what everybody else has said, if you cast Identify on that, so you know how inside your skull there's a brain.
Neri, it's fine. I
It
cast
is
Identify
very
and goes.
much
The worst
the
that
not-
can happen is it'll fry my sunglasses for like a day until I fix them.
no.
It
I don't
might do
think
more
Maybe
that's
than
give
true.
me
that.
a headache.
It might do more than that too.
I don't think that's true. I think it might.
Well,
I think your brain might turn black and die.
Everyone here who can cast Identify is aware that Identify actually doesn't do that.
right. I was about to say that Identify does different things than simply detect magic. However, I don't think this is something that Identify will reveal. It may be too powerful for Identify to actually identify it.
Well, it doesn't cost us anything except like 11 minutes to confirm it. So,
However, let's take it back to the moon first.
okay, I guess I can identify it on our way back.
First,
After we get
let's
there,
wait till we
let's-
safely
yeah.
land.
let's get back to the let's get back to the room and see if it works. And if it doesn't, then we can cast Identify on it.
You want me to put it in the thing without casting Identify on it?
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
No!
If I might ask,
What's
what are you hoping works?
Can't tell you.
Good job, Chroma.
Ah, that
I'm
thing.
not
I am equally
affiliated with
skilled in
her.
the arcane arts, Chroma, and I don't think that Identify will reveal anything.
Well, it looks like the only service I was able to provide for you was tour guide. I hope I was adequate in that
Oh yeah,
duty
I mean,
of mine.
we could have got
Mo?
lost.
You were extremely adequate,
Wonderful.
and my name is Neri.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Neri. And it
is a
looks like
pleasure to
you
meet
have.
too, Mo.
It looks like you found what you were looking for, and I got what I was looking for. And as Mo is saying this, he's taking a small pouch and putting it into a larger pouch. So I think it's time for me to bid you farewell. I wish you luck on your adventures, and who knows, maybe we'll meet again. I might come and visit the
I'd
moon
like that.
sometime.
May you have a bogus journey.
Farewell.
I'd rather have an
Bye.
excellent adventure.
I'm just gonna wave. Bye.
Right, time to face the music.
You're a bard, don't you do that a lot?
Wait, I thought
I
Bards
had
made
to
the
mention
music.
all 3 movies in the trilogy for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Yes, one of the 3 isn't out yet, but still, it's canon.
All right.
Okay, Mo has already walked away.
I love this game.
I know, right?
Wow. So, Chroma,
I am
you
not
wanna?
putting this into the thing without casting Identify on it. If I don't know what it is
What
and
thing?
exactly what it does, then I am not sticking it into the hyper-powerful thing that can move the moon.
Then it's
sorry,
a good
sorry.
thing that Snex has it.
Yeah, he can hold on to it. I mean, he's the most magic one of us. It seems makes sense, you know. I don't know what to do with it.
You hand it over to Snacks. Snacks reveals himself to be the big bad for this entire campaign. It was a long play. Matt and I were behind it the entire time. No. Or is he? No, that would require me to plan something behind the scenes with one of the other players, and I would never do that.
11
Of course not.
minutes. 11 minutes, and the worst that can happen is,
You
well,
die.
That could happen.
okay, yeah, that wouldn't be great, but that would be inconvenient, and I'd be in trouble. And
If I may,
Then why not
history
avoid
has
that?
shown dying is not necessarily the worst thing that can happen.
Chroma, let me.
why are you so adamant that I don't?
Because
Chroma,
it
may I
could end
please-
badly.
May I please present a scenario to you? There are 3 potential situations. We put this crystal into the room in the moon, and it does something bad. Our worst case scenario there is that it either kills us or it takes us somewhere that we haven't been before, in which case
No, our worst case scenario is it crashes the moon into the planet and everybody dies.
this is so spectacularly unlikely that I am willing to discount it. Because
Have you done the math?
if
I paid attention to it.
If this is all just about the math, what about our consultant?
If I could step in and point out, of all of you, the one who followed the math the best was Chroma. And what Chroma mostly got from the math that she was shown was, yes, those are numbers.
I
Oh, no.
succeeded on the roll. And I understood
And
decent amount of what was going on.
with the added explanation, yes. But if you were asked to recreate that, you don't have enough levels in Artificer. And Artificer is also the wrong class for this.
Yeah, we left the person who actually did the math in Marwise's second library.
Oh yeah.
I just don't understand why you are also adverse to me casting Identify on it.
Because it could kill you.
I don't know
Yes.
anything about arcane magic, but the people who do are saying no, so I'm going with them.
I am the people who do.
I am the people who do.
I have a higher arcana than...
all right, I have a third suggestion that I think you will appreciate. Let's take it to your mom.
No!
Why not?
Because
Chroma,
why is it so hard for everyone to believe that I'm competent?
it is not so hard for us to believe that you're competent. We don't want you to die.
You are very competent. You also tend to be impulsive.
You are valuable to us. Zelie is less likely to die when she is trying to identify what this gem does. We are trying to keep you alive because you are valuable to us. That is the only reason. It is not about your competency. It is about us caring about you.
Zenosha,
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Zenosha and Neri.
I will hand it
Yeah.
over.
Oh.
Thank you.
I absolve myself of all guilt if you do anything foolish.
Fair enough.
I'm waiting for what Crash says.
JR is next to the mech, and their hand is on its shoulder.
Uh-oh.
JR's hand is on the mech's shoulder. I'm
Yes.
making sure I'm
It's in
understanding correctly.
pieces, yeah. So
It has been partially disassembled, and you had to basically rip it partially apart to get JR out because it was
Right.
non-responsive.
right.
Okay.
Hey, Chroma, if I carry these parts back to the ship, you think you can fix it?
Maybe. I'd have to do a better look over to figure that out.
Well, I mean, I can bring it with, and we can figure that out on the way back, right?
Okay. There is one more thing that I want to do before we leave these caves.
Okay.
But can you carry all the parts of the mech?
I can try.
Not in one
Element-
trip. It's a matter of
I
awkwardness.
mean, yeah, it's
The
going to
elemental-
take a little bit.
The elemental is here for an hour. He can help.
All right, cool.
Okay.
He's got a
Load
20
them up,
strength.
I'll take the rest, and we'll get this
Yeah.
back to the ship.
I mean, you've got a
He's got
bag
a
of
20
holding.
strength and made of stone.
That should work out fine.
Okay.
Toss all the chunks in the bag of holding. The nope gets inside the mech.
All bad. Very bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we can get this outside of the
Chroma?
cave, maybe we can use some rope to tie some of the pieces to the Triceratops.
Hmm.
Oh, that's right. You also have a pet Triceratops
Oh,
now.
yeah.
If he's still there, I mean, or she,
Chroma?
I don't know.
Will you promise
Can't be.
to not use identify until we get back to the moon? If we say, okay, we're not going to stop you from using identify, will you promise to not use identify until we get back to the moon?
Fine.
Okay. Then there's one more thing that I would like you to do.
What?
All right. Neri is going to guide the party back to the part of the map where we crossed the rope bridge to get to that pillar where we had to figure out how to get to the rope bridge across the chasm.
If I remember
Are we
correctly, you
all-
backtracked.
We did backtrack. So I'm trying to get back there.
Okay.
Is that okay? Can we all agree to go back to that pillar across the rope bridge?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Let me pick up some of this, and our big stone friend here can carry the rest, and I'll follow
Yep.
along.
JR picks up a few of the bolts.
Chroma,
What?
my understanding of a bag of holding is that you can reach in and pull out whatever you want and do whatever you want with it. Is that right? Would you please, while standing at the edge of this pillar, pull out the nope and throw it into the chasm?
I
Do
think
not
the
do
note
this.
flies.
Do not do this. It flies.
Oh, wow.
My staff can banish things. Can we banish the nope? Is it from another plane?
It's probably from another plane.
Oh, we don't know.
So if it's not,
Even
it
if
would return in a
flies,
minute.
Right, and then we have the whole
Even-
problem again.
Well, we don't have the whole problem again. We will be running back across the rope bridge and fleeing the cavern as fast as we can.
I am a paladin.
The
So-
note will be like right up where I am.
Would you please
No,
take the nope out of the bag of holding
do
and
not.
throw it down into the cavern?
Do not.
I think the nope's bigger than me, so it's not that I won't so much as I can't.
Do not do this. I am a paladin.
All right.
Paladins protect. If we leave it here, it is someone else's problem. They could get hurt because of us.
Then we should
They've got
carry
a
it
point
back and let,
there. Yeah.
let someone else try to send the nope or destroy the nope.
Somebody must know how.
I am less than 3 months old. I have lost 2 friends already. Yes,
Okay,
one
so-
of them came back,
Okay.
but let's not talk about that.
Okay, for now, let's just get back to the ship and hope our friend the
Then
T-Rex
let's get
is
back
willing
to
to
the
act as a
start.
mount for some of these mech pieces.
All right, then off we go.
Okay. And that
Off we go.
is where we're going to end it for tonight, with almost 3
Wow.
hours recorded.
My
Now
gosh.
granted, some of that was when we took a short break partway through, but still,
And talked about cooking.
and a long thing about cooking, which I might actually cut out, but to lower the recording time, which means I might cut this part out too, or will I? No, I probably won't. Or will I? Or maybe not.
Okay.
Archbeth, I don't do outtakes. It's too much more of a pain to cut something out and then put it back in elsewhere. So I delete them and they're gone. So thank you everyone for playing. Thank you everyone for listening. A significant portion of the end credit scene was people arguing about nopes and foci,
Yeah.
which I did
I
not
tried
expect,
so
but I
hard.
appreciate.
I tried so hard to get rid of the thing in the bag of holding.
Right.
Yes, but even when you were told it flies, you were like, well, just take it out and throw
Are we
it.
no longer live?
No, we're
I
still
think
live. We are still live.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I don't know enough about what the nope is to tell you what we could do with it.
Amorphous blob of meat is pretty much the best description. It's made of
And it
meat and
regenerates.
yeah, it's made
we
of
don't.
meat and
We've never seen it before.
Okay.
Right.
I'm pretty sure
Correct.
it came from another plane, so banishment should work, but... And I keep
We
going
don't-
between my voice and Chroma voice.
That's okay.
Matt, the player,
Unofficially,
might
we don't know
encounter
enough
this.
about it to test to make tests. If we let it out and banishment doesn't work, we've just left a problem. And Snacks would basically be like, "No, then leave it in there. Let somebody else deal with it." When
I think
somebody
we
more
at
powerful
least-
than us.
I think we at least need a long rest before we do anything with
With
Yeah.
the
I
note
agree.
because
I
I
agree.
don't want to fight it back down to bag of holding
Yeah.
shovable.
I agree.
Neri's,
this is
Neri's thought was Neri understands that it's a problem. Her thought is it's a problem in a cave full of problems.
This way, maybe two problems will take care of each other.
Exactly.
Or join forces.
That's our
And-
problem.
and
Uh-huh.
JR would stay behind to keep fighting this thing if you did that.
Yeah, we can't have
So-
him do that.
With that said, let's say we wrap it up. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
Tonight we were joined by a bunch of awesome people. We had LFA, Ember Draken hanging out in Twitch chat. We had Archbeth hanging out in Discord chat. We also had Ellie, Io, Jen, Matt, and Cindy. Let's do a few
And
quick
Craig.
plugs. And Craig, can't forget Craig, just sitting there listening to everything, taking down notes in separate audio tracks. Ellie runs a social network, elekk.xyz. That's elic.xyz. It is Mastodon compatible, so if you have a Mastodon account, feel free to follow many of us there. Our social details are listed on the cast page, which you can get to in the show notes. Io's
do?
mom never gets old. Io's mom writes books, and you can find those at elizabeth-mccoy.com. Jen has a blog and podcast, and you can find that at bookofjen.net. Matt's brother-in-law also writes books. You can get those at nogodsbeforeus.com. Cindy is awesome. At some point, we might have something to plug for Cindy also, but until next time,
Till
Cindy
then.
is awesome.
Yep.
Thank
And we have a Patreon. Help us keep the lights on. Simply go to patreon.com/cogwheelgaming and help us out with that, with this hobby that I intend to fill with money. It's a bottomless pit, but I'm still throwing stuff down there. It is actually bottomless, unlike the pit that you were going to throw the nope into.
Oh,
That does have a bottom. It's just your dark vision is 60 feet.
right. Yeah.
I genuinely don't remember. Did we hit bookofgen.net?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. Just making sure.
quite all right. Thank you for checking, because if I forget, it's one of those checks that's going to keep me in check. I just thought of that, and I'm proud of myself. I will award myself inspiration. But
There
in
you
any
go.
case, if you do go to the Patreon and support us, you'll be joining other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Eric, Mickey, and Walter. And until next time, this is Crash saying, well, that
Nyah,
was
nyah, nyah.
a truly fascinating encounter. I expect big things from those kobolds. I am definitely going to meet them again. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.